Welcome, Pisces, Aries, to your mid-month reading. Hope you friends are doing great out there. If you friends like this, hit that big old like button and subscribe. Okay, let's see. This message is coming out. Beautiful Pisces. There's a sudden change in the tower coming. You know, it's kind of crazy. I'm going to pull another card before I see exactly what it is, because it could just be a revelation and an awakening that makes a tumble within yourself, right? Because I do see that no matter what's going on within this situation, it's definitely going to put a new perspective into the equation, okay, of what's going on within your world. So let's go ahead and clarify on the tower. Clarify on the tower. Why is the tower here, please? Why is the tower? Why is this tower here? It is. See, it's the way you're building, the way you're growing, the way you're moving, what you're expecting, what are the results from the situation, having this rude awakening within your higher self and within your mind. So it happens usually through the higher self until it hits the analytical mind, which is the ego mind, right? And once it does so, then that causes that kind of chaos within us, for this sudden awakening of, wait, something needs to change, or this is changing not the way I want it to change. It always hits the higher self though first before that. That's why it's called the rude awakening, right? And sudden insight. It's kind of like what I've been planting might not be growing. Just going with what I'm seeing might not be growing the way I want it to grow, because there's, what is it, right? It's like you're looking back on what you have achieved, what you've planted, right? But it's almost like, but I thought more was going to come out of this. I assumed more would come. Why are some of them not grown? How come they're not all ripe yet? I've put in the hard work. I've done what I'm supposed to do. What is it? Yeah, see, looking back into the past. Looking into the past of what I've grown and what I've achieved so far within this certain situation. Everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different. Okay, so use your discernment. You'll know. You know, I always say if it's your video, you'll know what it is immediately, because you're going to, that's it. Whether it's love, whether it's job, work, whatever it is, could be even fixing the damn house. I bought a house and I thought I was going to achieve putting, painting it, or making the money to, buy new furniture or paint the room or whatever. Paint's expensive, right? But it's kind of like I have this innocence and this joy to the situation. I put everything into it and I'm feeling very nostalgic about the situation. I just can't understand why it didn't come together, all come together the way that it's planned, because it's been maybe, right? Maybe I did this in the new year. The beginning of the new year, maybe I did this in February, however it is. And now I'm just trying to figure out kind of like what's next, what needs to be done. So it's giving you a little bit of pain. It's, it's the 10 of Swords. It says yes, right? That part may have ended in a situation and you didn't feel like you achieved everything to the situation. Remember, 10 of Swords doesn't mean always, though, that everything died on its own. It might be that you're giving it kind of swords itself. You are putting it into that because you're not seeing that, okay, maybe I need to put it into that thinking, that way of thinking. Because it was a loss. was a failure. It didn't work. Maybe I have to replant those seeds. So you're having this kind of inner feeling of this kind of upsetness because maybe it was something you were obsessive about really trying to achieve. And it only got so far. So if it only gets so far, right, then you only feel like it's kind of defeated you in ways. And so you're having this sudden awareness of this defeat. That's what it is. The sudden insight is it's still not going the way I wanted it to go. How am I going to get it to where I want it to be? I don't understand. And I do feel that. I feel like there's this feeling of I don't understand. But you're going to have this sudden insight that it's just not there. It's, for some of you, you might even feel like it kind of collapsed on itself. It's kind of like I was digging a hole in sand. And the more I'm digging, right, the sand keeps falling back in. So I can only dig so deep, and I'm not achieving the size of the hole that I want if the sand keeps falling in on itself. So it keeps collapsing in on itself. So there could be something that has to be with adaptability, but it's also about weighing decisions. So this insight's going to allow you to weigh the decisions. You're going to want to figure out how you're going to get that pinnacle. That pinnacle is that Ace of Pentacles, right? That's that opportunity, making that fulfill itself. Can it fulfill itself? A lot of you are saying, Spirit is saying, you know what, it was the actions, but there are different potential options. Yeah. So it's almost like it needs to be reworked in its own way, but you will find the clarity and the creativity and the understanding to be able to remanifest this, to take more action on it, to redo it. Or maybe you will have to find that by juggling the pros and cons that I have to walk away from the situation, right, in order to make the magic happen in a way I want it to happen. Maybe I have to take a different route. No matter what the situation is, the overall sudden insight is that you do have the tools to figure out how you're going to make things real and get those seeds planted, or I'm going to have to do it a different way. I'm going to have to go in a different direction. Okay. So clarify on the Seven of Pentacles, what's the best idea? Do we continue to keep working on this? I mean, it looks like you make it dead so that you can either revise it or take a different direction. There was a lot of self-protection when it came to this thing. You might have even felt like you overspent money trying to get through this. So for some of you, you feel like, okay, so like, let's go back to that movie, like The Money Pit. For those of you who are, in the 80s, there's a movie called The Money Pit. They buy a house. The house is falling apart. They put money into it, but every time they put money into it, they keep finding another problem. So it's just a money pit, right? It's kind of like owning that lemon car. It's like it's penny nickel diming me to death. I'm just going to have to put it out of its misery and go buy another car, right? Or do I continue to keep trying to do this, but working around that situation and, try to figure out how I'm going to do so? Working magic in another way, right? Really working that magic, right? There's that saying, taking that action. Because it does feel like for a lot of you, this was something that was kind of you've protected this, this is mine. Yeah, you were looking for the sun. It was something that made you super duper happy. And, I want the results from the situation, but it's causing nothing but anxiety and exhaustion and burnout. So it does feel like right now you are having this tower moment and this understanding that this is just maybe even a reckless thought. This is a reckless behavior. This is a reckless, understanding. Maybe it was something that I thought I could do, but it was more of an exaggeration of what I can achieve from this situation. So maybe I underestimated the planning, right? Maybe if you're building a house, maybe you underestimated the cost of how much it's really going to cost me, even though they said it was going to be this, but then we ran into this problem and that problem and this problem, and you're like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? Do I give up? What do I do? Well, in that case, you're probably not going to give up, but maybe you have to step back, right? Hold on to more money and then come back to the situation. Everybody's situation is going to be a little bit different, but there's definitely going to be some stagnation and a feeling like there is a defeat here, because no matter what, it's, you feel like you've been defeated by the situation. And yes, it can cause major delays. So like I said, for some of you, you're going to have the realization that I need to give this up and go in a different direction, or I'm going to have to delay this process until I can either build more money or figure this situation out, because the sudden insight is it's not working. It's not bringing in the gratification. The sun said yes, but then something happened to where I feel like the success and the pleasure and the happiness kind of defeated itself. You know, you want it to, the majority of you want this completed. You're not going to give up the ghost. You're saying, I'm feeling defeated in the situation, and I do feel like there was a collapse, but I'm not going to allow it to get away from me. You're going to go for it. Wow. Majority of you are going to go for it. If that's dancing with the universe with the magician, making the magic happen, trying to figure it out, wanting this, yes. Hey, look, even if it was an illusion, I'm going to make the illusion. Even if it was a dream and an illusion, I'm going to push through it to make it into reality. You're not giving it up. Whatever it is, you're dead set on saying this is going to freaking happen. Look at, can I just show you something that's freaking amazing? You have the world, you have the sun, and you have the moon. That's power with the magician. You could probably already figure out how this is going to end. Come on, guys, use your discernment. If you have the sun, the world, the moon, the magician, that's kind of like the I'm not going to stop for hell or high water. This means too much. I do have a card on the floor. Let me see what it is. Is it meant for you? Or is it meant for me? Because I always hate that. Nope, it's transition and moving on in reverse. So definitely there's your answer. You're saying, I'm not going to allow this just to be the carry-on baggage. I'm not going to allow that. I'm going to empty the bag and put more bag into my bag. Put more tools into my baggage. So pretty much what you're doing is you're releasing the baggage that's already in the bag to move to calmer waters within the relationship or the situation. And with it in reverse is saying, I'm going to empty that bag, but I'm going to put in my magic tools, because it actually fell out with this card. We're going to empty it out, move to those calmer waters, because I have unfinished business. I'm too wrapped up in this situation to allow this to be destroyed. I'm just going to transition. I'm going to put in new tools. Okay. I'm going to take out that flathead screwdriver and I'm going to put in a Phillips screwdriver because it needs a Phillips screwdriver. The flathead's not working. Causing too much work. Right? Reassuring that you're getting new tools. You're putting new tools or new ideas, fresh new insights, fresh new ideas, working your way to understanding and trying to find either the time management for whatever it is you need to be able to work on, working around the situation and really juggling this situation so that you can really fix the situation. Because you're definitely saying, I'm going to have victory. So let's see what Spirit's going to say about the situation. It's saying no matter what, you have the self-confidence to keep moving forward. You're going to achieve this because you're going to put everything into it. You have the Hierophant and the King of Cups. Okay, that's it. It's saying you're going to trust within the universe. You're going to allow this commitment to follow through, and you're not going to change anything because this is like your own tradition, right? This is a part of who you are. And you're going to get yourself emotionally balanced. Ooh, because you have all the confidence and compassion with the Queen of Swords. The Spirit says you got this. There's going to be a very clean, clear mind of perception through this awareness of how you're going to make the Ace of Wands. There it is. So through all of everything that's going on and really clearing your mind from this situation, Spirit says your overall card is the Nine of Cups. You got this. You know what? And it does. It's going to feel like you're walking on broken glass. It's going to feel like heartache. But you know what? Sometimes the hardest route, because it doesn't seem like no matter what the situation is, there's the easy route. I don't feel like in this storyline that there's going to be an easy route. And I think you know that too. There's not an easy route. It's just it's like taking a detour. You're rerouting. Because I don't think the situation was, super easy to begin with. But it was something you were dead set on, and you're still dead set there. It's just now you're just going to have this rude awakening of, I'm sorry, this isn't working. You're either going to have to cancel your membership, excuse me, right? Or you're going to have to take a detour. And that's exactly what you're doing. It's the test of faith. Universe says how much you want it. So I do feel like it's a test. That's probably why you have the moon, the sun. Do you have it within yourself to make the progress, to make the wish come true? Yeah, you do. It just feels like you're going to gear up. Take different steps, but it does look like it's going to take a while. But it does look like you'll have new knowledge and understanding as you're making new choices for the situation. So, it does look like it's going, you know what it is more than anything, guys? What it really feels like? Yes, it's an upsetness, it's a disappointment, but it's also a pain in the butt. It's one of those situations. What a pain in the ass. Okay. Don't be afraid to slow down, as this is when you can make real inner changes. How funny is that? So, it's kind of like, okay, so it's a pain in the rear. Yes, it's an upset. Yes, I'm going to be devastated by this situation. This is something I did not want to hear. Thanks very much for the reading. You're welcome. But in the end, it's definitely something that's going to kind of kickstart your heart over here, because you're really going to like I said, want to empty up that bag and really refill that bag of what it is you truly want. And it really is going to, once you really juggle that, it really does feel like everything's going to move. It's going to move fast because it's going to make you want to make those changes to get the reward. But like I said, it doesn't feel like it's not something overnight though. This is going to be, because it's a test from the universe and testing your own faith, it's going to take a little bit of time. Develop an awe and reverence for life. It's almost like how hard do you want it? How hard do you want it? Show me. Take responsibility for every thought and feeling. It can affect the whole universe. So pretty much every thought and every feeling you're going to take from this situation is going to affect the outcome of how fast you're going to get things done. Are you going to allow it to 100% affect you 100 in a negative way? Or are you going to get past that negative and then move straight into the positive and say, okay, well, we got this. Let's rework this, right? How much reaction time are you going to take to the action, right? Because remember, reaction time wastes time, right? If we feel too sorry about the situation or sorry for ourselves or all those things, That's taking up a lot of time. If we sit there for a week, you haven't done nothing but say, oh, woe is me. So that's where the universe says, well, okay, so how long is this reaction to this situation going to last before you actually kick your own butt and get in there and say, I this, because that's what you want. If you didn't want it, you'd just be like, you know, then yeah, then this wouldn't even happen, right? Because this is definitely something you want. So your reaction time and action time is going to, on how fast you heal and get to back to the intentions, is really going to play a huge role in strengthening the bonds to the situation to get to that Ace of Wands right here. So, I mean, that's really where it's going, right? And then you can get straight to the success and growth, right? But you will be in the waiting game, of course, right? So, okay, guys. And that was it for you. Until next time. Peace and love. Bye-bye.